Greetings. Greetings from Japan. It's a cooler day today. It's been a hot summer in July, but that's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice to work at. I don't have to have the air conditioning on as that high. But anyhow, this is episode 4 of The Making of the Cosmic Survivor. And this episode is titled The Ancient Greeks, the Space Witch Veritas, and the Starcave. I showed you before in episode 3, I think we were covering deep space, and or episode 2, I showed you Nebulon, who is being hunted by this woman, Veritas. She's called the Great Protector. She's the leader of the Star Knights, and her role is exactly that, to try to protect the universe against Nebulon. It may seem puzzling to people seeing the first 2 issues that this is the main combatant to an ice monster, a giant comet, a giant force in the universe. But as the issues go on, I think it'll be much clearer why he considers her a threat. Because she's at home now in the Starcave, which I've shown in a bit more detail in the first issue. This is where she lives and kind of operates from. This is her home base, the Starcave, which is inside here. And this is one of her temples that she can kind of go out and look at a crystal ball into the universe. And when she's inside, she sees the universe through these windows inside the Starcave, which are here. So, as I said, this is a print-on-demand book, so the dark close values aren't going to show as nicely as I'd like, but I'm not going to change it into a bright cave because of the printing. I think I can take care of that later. But this is the Starcave, and this is where she operates from. And she has 2 dragons, a kind of a mother dragon and a baby dragon called Helios, which likes to play with her when she has time. So this is kind of her home life, but also her home base. So anyhow, Veritas controls dark matter. She's a space witch that can have control of dark matter, which is a very real thing in our universe. It's one of the most fascinating topics for physicists and scientists to explore in relation to the cosmos. There's also something called dark energy, which is the source of this guy's power. This is Cosimo, and he flies around on his rings of dark energy. So she's the sorceress who controls dark matter, and Cosimo, the Star Knight, controls dark energy. Both are very real. They're not like gamma rays and things like that in Marvel. These are actually real forces in the universe, and the story sort of writes itself. I mean, the Eridanus supervoid, which is a real supervoid in the Eridanus system of the universe, is named after a Greek river called the River of Hades. It just keeps writing itself. So I encourage you, if you're creative and you start with a story, you'll see how the story, you bring the seeds of your creativity to it, and you plant these seeds, and then you'll see things growing from places you didn't even expect that dovetail beautifully into your story. That just happens when you go upon the creative act of making a story. So I want to show this scene. This is where she's about to discover exactly where Nebulon is. and that's going to be very key to the next issue. Her crystal balls here are kind of an alert system to let her know what's going on in the universe. You know, she could look outside her windows, and you know, her powers are pretty grand in the scheme of things. And towards the end of this right here, she's getting the alert that they found Nebulon, which is a big deal in this series. This is the scene right after, I think I showed this in another video, where Nebulon fades out and it kind of shows her sleeping in the Starcave, which is a place I really like to draw. I kind of worked it out, and it's great to draw a dragon, and she kind of has kind of Greek attire. She is actually from ancient Greece in the series, and Greece plays a role. I love that time from 450, 500 BC with the Parthenon. I think the two coolest visual things to think about is outer space, a science fiction fantasy, and also ancient Greece from that time. I mean, I can kind of just look at it forever. But they're being folded together in this book, and Veritas is the most humanoid creature in this book. But she's not exactly, the girl next door. You'll see that her face is kind of electric, and that kind of bothers her too, but that's part of who she is. And she's kind of lonely. I mean, and that works itself into the series. But she has her dragons, which give her a lot of joy, and she can be kind of girly and fun in the Starcave when she has time with the dragons. I was looking at the time I was thinking these dragons up, I was finally looking at Game of Thrones, and I love how they did the dragons in that series, and I was trying to learn how to draw a dragon, and the dragons were small for a good part of the series, and then they became big, and there was an amazing sequence when that series was playing where the dragons were a big part of the show, and I got to kind of study them for drawing, and because a dragon is not an easy thing to research. They come in a lot of different forms, and but I kind of like it. This dragon is a little bit Game of Thrones, and he's also a little bit of the dragon from Paul Smith, the Marvel artist, from his X-Men. Kitty had a dragon with her. I forget what his name is, but Kitty from the X-Men, from the story in the 80s, she had this small dragon, and that always kind of stuck with me. So she has two dragons, a large dragon and a small dragon, and the large one's the mother of this, the fun dragon. And just so we kind of continue on, so this character is really going to evolve in the series. There's a lot of downtime at the beginning. I kind of believe in setting things up and getting people familiar with the world, because there's just a lot of concepts here, which I think are becoming easier as you get into the story. And she's really going to be a big part of this series. But, there's no action or anything like that yet. But I kind of enjoy seeing their world, and I think the viewer will too. And so the dragons, the imagery of the Starcave kind of continues the outer space. Well, not the dragons, but the imagery of the Starcave keeps the outer space imagery alive. This is an interior. She's not going through space. She's on a kind of this planet. I'm kind of not going to go into that too much, but you saw that she does have an exterior outside, and sort of some kind of planetoid area outside. And that's pretty much it. I want to show, she's going to, here's another page where I'm kind of drawing it out. She's kind of spotting what's inside the crystal ball. I think you can kind of see it here. I'm sorry you can't get the lower edge, but that's because of the span of the video. And what's going to happen in the next issue is something I'm very excited to do, but I'm enjoying this issue so far. There's just a lot to show and a lot to see. And the main characters, Hefatus, the Air Titan, Veritas, the Space Witch, the leader of the Star Knights, the Star Knight Cosmo, and Nebulon are being shown in these 2 issues. And it's going to be a 4 to 5 issue series. Book 1 is already up on Amazon, and hopefully in other places soon. I'll have it in the links below. And I hope you can come back and check it out. Keep your eyes and ears open. I'll have an announcement when this series is ready, when issue 2 comes out, and this issue, hopefully by the end of the summer. And if you can, like, subscribe. I like to build up the channel. I think if I keep growing subscribers, I have a lot to share. So hope to see you back here, and have a good day.